Welcome to Cringe and Crumble, the podcast where we dive into real-life experiences and raw, unfiltered conversations about life, dating, and relationships.
Join us as we share our own stories with those of our guests that will inspire you to connect with others in a new light. Whether it's overcoming heartbreak,
navigating the dating world,
or finding new ways to live in your truth,
we've got you covered. So buckle up and let's get ready to
cringe and crumble.
Woo!
Bum, 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 do, do, do. Bum, 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 do, do, do. Well, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Tranisha?
I'm good. I say surface level good, but I'm really relaxed right now.
Me too.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this rosé is pretty good, actually.
Yeah, we're drinking rosé.
It's called the beach. We live by the beach. We drink the beach.
We do. It's the sister of the Whispering Angel. So if you can't find Whispering Angel, you always should get the beach.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a pretty good rosé. I like it.
It really is.
Thanks for buying it.
Of course. I mean, we'll be in video. We keep saying that, but we will soon. But I kind of want to just dive into this episode because this is a good episode. Every episode we do is always good, but let's talk about this is basically kind of based on rom-coms. It's like the happily ever after happens mostly in the rom-coms, but can it happen to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this episode is entitled Friend Zone to the End Zone. We're navigating the transition from friendship to romance. So this is exciting because I think we kind of touched on, friendship, men and women, but let's kind of discuss the potential risks and rewards of taking the leap from the friendship to romance. And let's kind of provide some tips and stuff of how we should navigate that. What do you think?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And also to prepare for this episode, I actually forwarded you this article, but I thought it was really great. And if anyone out there is kind of tiptoeing on that, I want to go from the friend zone to the end zone, which basically means you want to go from that friend zone into a romantic relationship. I recommend this article from bride.com. How did I get to bride.com? I have no idea, but I made it there. And this article is entitled How to Go From Just Friends to Dating According to an Expert. And in this case, the expert is Dr. Darcy Sterling. And what I do like about this article, which hopefully you guys can read it, is that she just recommends at the end of the day, you do your due diligence on what it is that you want from this friendship that's going to go into a romantic relationship. So, and she kind of gives some hints and to kind of get you into that. And I think it kind of got our brains kind of rolling too, like have you had a good best friend where you've decided that, you know what, I really like this best friend and I want to risk it to see if they want to be in a romantic relationship? And I think the two questions that she did ask that you do ask yourself before we leap into this, navigating this friendship to relationship, is that the question that you should ask yourself, number one, is like, are you both single? And that's not just for yourself, but that's for the other the other person as well. And the other question is, are you both looking for the same type of relationship? And her expertise on this is that if both those answers are yes, this is a go. And if they are both no, or if like one's no and another's yes, you're kind of going to be risking this friendship. And 9 times out of 10, it probably is not going to end in the end zone. But with that being said, I really want you, Vanessa, to kind of lead us into like, how does this actually work? Like, what's the dynamics? How's it going to change? Like, what do we look for? Like,
Yeah. I mean, well, the first thing is, let's go back to a question that we've asked in a separate episode where can a male and female friendship, or I'm going to call it best friendship, because there's a difference between friendship and a best friendship, right? So can they actually be best friends without someone being attractive to one or the other? Okay. A completely opinion based for me, but I don't think so. I think if you're that close to somebody in the opposite sex, and the sex that you're attracted to begin with, there has to be some form of attraction to even
correct.
spend that much time and effort.
Mm-hmm.
That is I that's a very debatable thing to
It
talk
is.
about. I just believe that there always is some sort of form of attraction, whether it's physical or mental or, emotionally, there's something.
Agreed. And it may not be on both sides, but at least one of the other has that attraction level.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's a ticking time bomb in a sense, you
I think
know?
so too. Yeah, I think there's something is almost inevitable. If they're that close,
Mhm.
it's almost inevitable for it to happen at least once.
Yeah.
And then, there's a claim of like, well, oh, he's like my brother or she's like my
No.
sister, like that whole sibling effect. Like, is that real?
No,
Y-
let me tell you something. I watched Caught in the Act. I won't lie. On VH1.
You've talked about this
Did
show
I talk about this before?
before.
And these people, they were best friends and they're like
Mm,
brothers and sisters. But then
mhm,
they started getting, and so the crazy thing with that, and that's why I'm kind of like, I'm with you. I'm very iffy on the whole brother and sister thing because they start crossing the line to the point to where this gentleman's actually in a relationship, in a 2-year relationship, but then he's crossing the line with his best friend because all the other friends are kind of co-signing that, oh, you two
mm,
should be together. But
right.
this is also a good dynamic if it wasn't for if it wasn't for the real girlfriend in this situation, it was just you two. And
Yeah.
because you're getting that co-sign from friends that you guys look great together and you're starting to spend more time with this person, and next thing you know, he is emotionally involved with this person.
Right.
Yeah, I did. I brought that up.
I mean, power of persuasion. I think that's a real thing too. If somebody keeps telling you, "Hey, you guys would look like a good couple,"
Good
oh,
couple.
a good couple. Where did that come from?
I love it. You're a good
I'm not
couple.
from the South. Maybe I'm hanging out with you too long.
My accent doesn't come out like that. You're a good
A
couple. You
good
sure look
couple.
pretty, girl. No, I don't.
Then I feel like at some point somebody's gonna believe it.
You really are. Even if you
Back
do.
to my Jersey accent. Let me get back to East Coast mode here, because I am. I don't know where that came
I,
from.
I just get that. I can't stop laughing off of that. I hope everyone else love that. But no, because you talk. That's true though. You can speak that into an existence. They probably didn't even like each other until people keep saying like, "You guys look great together," and
Right.
then you start looking at each other in a different light, and you're like, "Well, maybe this person is attractive," and you're kind of like, "Okay, like let's just ride this wave." But that's neither here nor there. I kind of diverted from what you were talking about, the sibling effect. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm back on the couple thing. But right, there could be situations where, you grew up with um a person, you've known each other since before you were even born. Your parents are friends. It's like a family dynamic where everybody, it's like your mom is like my aunt, even though we're not related, kind of
Oh,
thing.
yes,
You know what
that
I
can be
mean?
and also can be like a little bit of peer
Family
pressure,
friends.
right? Because
Mhm.
the best friends want their sibling, they want their kids to be married, and they can be like a real family or
Yeah.
something.
Right.
Mm, but that yeah, it's neither here nor there.
So, I mean, I guess going back to the topic, like, I don't know. I don't think it could happen. I don't think you could just be best friends. I'm sorry. I just don't.
No, you can't.
Unless you're gay, I just don't see it happening if you are attracted to the opposite sex or the same sex, or what what I mean. But I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but I mean, but neither here nor there. But let's look at the positive side of that. Even if
Mhm.
you are best friends, you guys did cross the line because 9 times out of 10, you're gonna cross that line, like you said, because you can't be best friends without having some type of attraction to each
Right,
other,
or curiosity, you know what I
basically.
mean? Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this is where we're at. So now the question you have to ask yourself is why,
Right.
right?
Why? I mean, why would you do this? Like, why would you
Hmm.
take that extra step, right?
Why would you?
I think most of the time if it happens, it's because your relationship and the bond between you 2 has been deepened,
Mm,
So it makes a lot of sense because you know this person, you've gotten to know this person on a different level, even if it was quote unquote friendship.
mhm.
A lot has been shared and exposed, and you can see how this person deals with his problems or her problems, with their reaction to things, what they like, what they don't like, the
Correct.
kind of woman that they're looking for or man that they're looking for.
Mhm.
And you already know those things. And so when you share the same interests and when you share
Mm.
the same values and share the same, um, if you want the same things in your relationship, it's only natural.
You show that natural progression to the next level, right?
Exactly.
And I agree
Exactly.
with everything you're saying because it's
Mm-hmm.
like they've seen you through your ups and downs in relationships. You've probably seen that person and they've shown up for you and navigated in ways that, none of your partners have done in a relationship, and you just realize the person that you really need in your life or really want is standing right there in front of you. As cliche as that sounds, like you're a rom-com right now.
For sure.
But then you do, like, you start replaying those scenarios over in your head that this probably is something that the natural progression is the next step of maybe we should move to the next level,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
then that kind of gets us into what are some of the situations and behaviors that indicate that you and that person are ready to move into a romantic relationship.
Right. So, I mean, there's a couple of signals.
Let's go through all of them. We got nothing but time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, at first, it's just you increase emotional intimacy, right? Like, what does that mean? Like, what sparked the feeling to begin with, right? Like,
Yeah.
what changed? What happened? Like, where do we become friends to like, wow, like, I'm thinking about you a lot and I can't wait to talk to you. And I feel
So tell me what sparks your interest? What makes you think? What would do that for you? I'm just hypothetically.
I think, it's hard to say because, I'll just talk about my own experience where um I had mentioned before in a previous episode when I had my ex-boyfriend. I had met him because he was my roommate,
Mhm.
and he was only my roommate. I didn't think anything of him but as my roommate. Like, I had a life, I was working, I was dating somebody else, like, I was just living my life, and so was he. So I just we said hi and bye, like, we chit chat, small talk, but that's it, right? And then when we did text, it was over, like, random house shit, right? Like, the microwave is broken or the
Oh
landlord came
yes, I remember you
by.
did share this. Yes.
Yeah, and then I wasn't dating anybody at the time, and neither was he, and I didn't know that. I thought he had a girlfriend at one point, but I just wasn't paying attention. And then he started to talk to me about like, he would text me about other things other than house things, or we would talk about house things, but make it funny and make it, like, very similar, it'll spark a conversation outside of regular, like, standardized, "Hey, we need to pay the rent," kinda thing.
Mhm.
So, what happened there with me was, he gained my interest with, like, friendship and laughter, and
So
I
it was
think
over
that's
time.
it was ov
He was building slowly
Right.
to you trusting him, kind of like you're still trusting him, but on a different level, right?
Yeah.
And then you're having those like, I don't know, not childish, but like, what's the right word for that? I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's that building of, he,
Emotional intimacy, right?
yeah.
Because 'Cause we're asking different questions now to each
Mm-hmm.
other, like, it starts off with, like, "What kind of foods do you like?" to, like, "How long were you in your last relationship?" Like, "What happened to your last relationship?" And then now we're getting a little bit more intimate emotionally, and I'm getting to know him as a person. I'm somehow taking interest. You went from my roommate to my friend to, like, now I'm interested. So, there's,
Mm-hmm.
like, a spark that happened there, and I don't know.
You don't know the exact moment when the spark snapped or
No, but
happened.
but I think that I remember the feelings, like, vividly of when I started to miss him, like, when I was looking at my phone for his text, when I was, waiting for like, I was laughing at everything he says, like, that went from, night to day, like, it happened out of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was the spark right there, and I think that can happen even with, like, a best friend,
No, it probably
you
could,
know?
and then I like yours because it was built over time,
Mhm.
and but then, like you said, you start missing that individual, It's those little things like that, if you're, like,
Mhm.
looking for those text messages or you're looking forward to those phone calls, and if you're starting to notice, like, "Oh, that person didn't call you today," and you're feeling a certain type of way, it's kinda like your intuition or telling you, like, there's something more that's there,
Yeah.
and if you listen to your gut, 9 times out of 10, it's always correct.
Right.
And I think it was beautiful in your situation. Granted, you're broken up, so fuck it. But at the
Yeah.
time, it made sense. And
It
so,
did, it did, yeah.
I think that's great that we talked about the increased emotional intimacy, but then you can also think about the mutual flirting, right? And
Mhm.
you start you guys would banter a little bit, you'd flirt a little bit, and
Right.
you think about that, if your flirting is being reciprocated from that person and individual,
Mhm.
that's also another indicator that something could be more than just friendship.
Right, right, and I think that, you know, at that point, it's like, okay, like, something's happening here. Like, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're not like,
You're
if the
bowling and he's trying to teach you how to bowl, he's touching your lower back. No one touches the lower back. That's a very special spot for
Right,
the right person.
right, exactly, and so I think it's, once you establish there's, like, an emotional connection with this person, with your friend that you've known your whole life, like,
Yes.
all of a sudden you start missing them and or you're a little jealous of, like, they're not making time for you.
Mhm.
Okay, let's establish that you've already caught feelings. Okay, so
Mm.
now the next part is the flirting, and you just double check at this point if he's doing it back, right?
Yeah,
Like
he's reciprocating
if
it.
he's
And if he's
reciprocating.
not reciprocating it back, stop those breaks.
Exactly.
But in this positive episode, he is reciprocating it back, and because we're gonna go to that end zone.
Yeah, exactly. Because if he's not reciprocating it back, you just need to take a mental note and
Mhm.
and read that relationship and know like you know when you need to just be aware of that, and
Yeah.
it'll save you a lot of heartache. You don't wanna be engaging in the next steps if you don't see the reciprocation coming back to you. But
Facts.
he is reciprocating in this case scenario,
He is, which is
right?
great.
Right, and that's
A
okay.
and then you progress.
So you're
So
both aware of the risk.
yes, we are. So now you're progressing to what now? You're spending more time together.
Exactly.
So you're building up that emotional intimacy. You're flirting to the next level, and now you're spending more time together. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
that's a big sign. Like, we're going pretty good here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like at that point, like
If you're, s-
why are you holding back,
yeah,
right?
if
Like
you feel like every day you need to see this person,
right.
or every other day you're just like, I need to talk to that person, you're missing that person, that person's becoming a big, significant part of your existence.
Yeah, and I gotta go back to, once you get to that point where you're spending a lot of time together, I'm gonna go back again to like, you know what? Something was always there. There was always a seed there, and now it's being watered, and those feelings are now starting to expose themselves,
Hmm.
right? And I think,
You've been kind of nurturing those feelings with one
totally.
another.
And I also think from a scientific perspective, I think if you hang out, with if you're a straight woman and you're hanging out with a male a lot, there's going to be pheromones like thrown around left and right at whether you like it or not. Like
Mm.
it's just natural like chemistry, it's natural it's science too. So those that can happen regardless. So I think that, at that point if you're already having the emotional connection, if you're already sort of kind of flirting and you're now spending a lot of time together, like what's the holdup, right?
No.
Is the holdup
Fear
losing
of being rejected.
exactly.
Um
It could be
changing that whole friendship dynamic,
yep.
right? Because you can't, once you have crossed that line and expose your feelings for that individual and it's not reciprocated, 9 out of 10, it's never going to be the same. But in this positive situation, it's going to be great.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be great. And I think another thing is like I said before with like a family dynamic, if your families are intertwined in some way, it's like a friend of the family,
Hmm.
um, that can hold you back too. You don't wanna have some sort of beef if things don't work
Because
out,
they're always
right?
at your house for Thanksgiving
Right,
and
right.
Christmas, but you
Mhm.
don't have to make it awkward. That's another thing of having positive communication, where you just have open communication and just don't make things awkward.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to, but it could happen, and I think that's a fear that anybody would have, just at least a thought of it, just be like, "Oh, what if things go really sour?" You
Yeah,
know?
but that's the risk we take, right? Because you
Mhm.
never know if you never tried, right? You'll always be living with that regret of I shoulda, coulda, would've.
Mhm.
And if that's something that you really want to do, do it. Take the risk, see what happens, and you may be rewarded at the end. And in this one, you have been rewarded because you're gonna get into that end zone.
Well, once you get that physical contact,
Listen.
there's no more football. You won the game, girl.
You really did. Well, But no, I also read like, but you also got to make sure that is true. You have won the game, but I'm gonna kind of flip this a little bit.
Mhm.
There's this one girl who I was she was best friends with her best friend did do the physical contact part, and it had this whole like dynamic
Mm.
of they've gone through all this great our different levels, right?
Mhm.
But then, that friend was just like, I like you, but I don't like you like that. So after the physical contact, now she's mentally distraught because this guy has
Mhm.
basically tried to turn their friendship from a mutual best friends to friends with benefits. And now she's stuck looking at this individual with other women in her face, and they still have the same friendship group with not other
Ugh.
people probably knowing that they were together. Unbeknownst is only the secret between them. And so you got to be really sure about this because you don't want to be stuck in that because that can really mess you up mentally. And she did say she's still dealing with that impact to this day of mentally having basically, you basically been used in a sense, but
By your
uh,
best friend.
by your best friend who
Yeah.
you probably just wanted to just get straight in the end zone and didn't want anything else.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
in this
I don't think
scenario,
that's a best friend at that
no,
point.
we're on a positive.
Yeah, this is a true genuine 2 genuine
Yeah,
people.
it's either two genuine humans, but just
Yeah.
in case, do your due diligence and just make sure you don't end up like homegirl.
Right.
But anyway, so let's revert back to the positive energy, which is not negative energy. We're just telling you what's on the dark side and what's on the good side, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So let's give some examples of he's into you. He's into you. What is that?
He's into you.
All right.
Alright, so, he's into you when he spends more time with you than his guy friends.
Oh, 100%. He's not broing out at his friends and he just wants to spend time with you to the point where his
Oh,
bros are like,
yeah.
I hate you. Like, why
Mhm.
he's not hanging out? You're like, I'm not keeping him to myself. I told him he can hang out with his friends, but he wants to spend him with you.
Oh, yeah.
That's a sign because boys love their boys.
Yep. So another part of that is he makes your schedule a
Oh,
priority and is accommodating to it. So I guess the question there is like, does he get upset when he hasn't seen you in a while or you've been too busy to show up?
yeah, he's getting a little jealous because he wants to see you.
Because like most friendships, like, you and I and our other mutual friends, we're pretty busy women.
Yeah.
And if I don't talk to you for a week, you're still my friend and we still hang and we
Yeah.
still do things and there's zero like
No.
we don't have to we don't have to have an explanation for anything. At the end of
Mm.
the day, we just catch up like, wow, what a week and this is what happened.
Yeah.
Right.
But if
But
he
yes.
is feeling a certain type of way and he needs to know why you haven't been calling him, girl, he likes you. He
Mhm.
likes you a lot.
Yes, he does.
He's making you a priority and he wants to know why you have not make him a priority.
Exactly.
There you go.
So the next sign that he's into you is he asks your opinion for everything, even on other
Okay,
relationships.
well, other relationships like what though?
Any kind of relation. I mean, he could have a whole girlfriend and ask for your opinion
Wait a
and
minute,
this
is
and
he
that.
trying to cheat with you now?
What?
Wait a minute, he's got a whole girlfriend. He asking you about relation.
I do think
What's
that
happening?
even if somebody has a girlfriend, I feel like if they're constantly trying to reach out and ask questions or, hey, this girl, like whatever, I think he still has something for
So
you.
he's basically trying to jump from one relationship to your
I think
relationship.
he's subconsciously seeing how in reality he wants his best friend and not the actual girlfriend he's with.
I don't know.
I
It's kind
think
of giving me some cheater tendencies, but I kind of get it, and I don't know. I'm like, is he like trying to like groom me to be like
well,
his?
he's claiming well, I'm just saying he's gonna like seeing this as a friend, but in reality, subconsciously, subliminally,
My
y-
best friend's wedding.
yeah, like he's actually like values you so much and values your opinion and just wants to know
So he didn't want to risk it. So
everything.
basically, he didn't want to risk it all without being in a
Yeah.
relationship. So he's not putting all his eggs in one basket. He's got it in this one, but then if you kind of give him the green light, he's gonna jump into your lane and be like, "Thank you,
Yeah.
bye" to the other
In a
person.
way, like, he's prioritizing, like, you over
Okay.
his girlfriend a little bit, and honestly, that's, like there's, like, the proof in the pudding, like, you just can't be friends.
No, because you're not gonna be prioritizing your girl for a
Mhm.
friend over me. I will stop. Let me stop.
So then the next sign, which is kind of, like, cringy,
Oh,
okay?
what it's telling me.
It's, like, when you notice that the girlfriend feels a certain way about you, even though, like, your intentions were strictly friendship, but if she's feeling a certain way, it's because she's feeling it from her boo, which is your friend. So,
Oh, yeah, that's true. That
like
means
we
he's
all have that gut feeling as women, like if I was in that situation of in her situation where I'm dating a
mhm.
guy that has a quote unquote girl best friend, yeah, there's certain gut checks that I need to make, and if they're not feeling right, I'm gonna feel a certain way about the friend. And I know you had talked about that one time, but let's just
Yeah.
say like
Yeah, if it was reciprocated back because he didn't like her, I remember that. Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. No, I could see that being because yeah, because that means
He didn't
you
put enough boundaries in his relationship.
no, and your feelings of what you think his feelings for you are being validated not only from his side, but from the girlfriend side to you.
Right. And then
It's kind
it's
of
it's
fucked
like
up.
also like right. So it's also like, well, is he more concerned about hurting your feelings or hers?
It's gonna be yours than hers, which
Right.
is kind of fucked up. Okay, hold on, I'm sorry. This
I'm
is
just showing
a positive
it
episode.
is a positive because I'm showing the signs he's into you. That's a sign.
I know, but it's like
Cuz he could go ahead and say and defend the friendship to the end.
that's true.
You know what I mean?
It's not the pretty. So basically, it doesn't look pretty. It's not like
It's not
rainbows and
always no, it's
butterflies.
not always perfect.
But no, you're right. That's some shady stuff, man. But no,
Mhm.
those are facts, though. No, what you're saying is true.
Mhm.
It's true. Oh, dang. Okay,
So
keep it going.
the next sign
I'm trying. It's a positive episode.
it's positive.
No, it's positive. I'm just in my
Yeah.
head like this
It's just
individual.
reality, right?
His
It's
character's being questioned a lot right now.
yeah. Yeah, cuz he should be like man enough to know like I shouldn't
Basically,
be messing around with someone
no.
else's time in life.
Basically, because
But
we only get one life. We're not playing Sonic the Hedgehog. We don't get like five
right.
different lives. We get
But
like
he had
one.
his awakening in like month 2 in his relationship.
Now he
So
had his awakening 2, 3 years later. After he's drugged her on like a 2-year engagement. It's like, this is not really what I want. All right. I'm
Uh,
sorry.
so then like the next sign would be like, okay, well first of all, I was like, have you guys ever hooked up in the past, right?
What?
Like your face.
I just snorted. I'm sorry. Oh, you threw me for a
So
loop.
what if okay, I'm just So what if like there was
Okay.
like an incident where you guys were I don't know, in high school or something and you guys kissed or
Oh,
something.
that's different. Okay.
Hooked up, I don't know, not hooked up in the sense of like sexual, like just a regular like
Okay.
little like like a quick fling, right?
Oh, in high school, not as grown
In high
people.
school
Oh,
or
that doesn't
like
count.
college or something. Yeah, but it still counts because something happened physically,
But
right?
just kissing. First
Yes.
base. We're not going.
I mean,
We're
you're
not.
in within personal space of each other that in that
Okay.
way, okay?
All right. Got a lot of questions. Okay.
Yeah, or like you slept over. I don't know. I'm just trying to like say that there's some sort of like small
Foundation.
intimate yeah, an intimate moment, right? And you guys passed it. You guys were past it. You guys were friends, whatever. But does he ever bring it up again?
He's probably replaying that bad boy in his head over and over again.
Does he talk about
He
it every
probably
so
in his sleep. He
often?
probably talks about it in his sleep. I can't
Is
believe I'm
the
over.
memory still living in his brain? Does it
It
still have
probably
space in
is. And
there,
he's over here building a whole like castle in life with you inside of it.
You never know. You never
You never
know.
know.
Yeah.
I think this is great. No, you did throw me for a loop initially, but I'm okay.
And then the other thing is like how often do you guys hang out alone versus with other people in a group?
Oh yeah, if you're always like at his house. Now, if he's playing video games, let that be.
But you might be into video games too, or he might get you into video games. And all of a
No,
sudden, you
he's
guys are
not.
playing
I
like,
play video games in
Call of
high
Duty
school.
together. You guys are on the same team. I'm just saying, like you could gain new interest now.
That's you gotta be gaming together because you know what? You've been in relation with all the other 1,500 people on that same headset with you and him too.
But he's on your couch. He brought that PlayStation over.
Those are facts. You know what? You got new interests. I just know don't come my way with a freaking video game. Like
And then, do other people notice that? Do they ask questions? I mean, I've been in
Yeah, I'm
situations
sure they do.
where
Have
people,
you
yeah,
gone from the friend zone to the end zone?
no, but I've been asked questions before with my guy friends like, "Hey, are you dating so and so? Or are you guys together?" Or they just assumed we were together, but that's because I didn't realize that this person was trying to hang out with me that much. I just again, like, you
It's
have to
true.
have the mutual,
Yeah.
like, reciprocation, and we didn't have that, and so I didn't notice it until
That's true. That
it
happened
started
to me
being
once
called
too. My
out.
family, I
Yeah.
remember, had a going away party, and then I had friends there, and I had a good guy friend there, and I never forget. At the end, my family's like, "So are you and that guy dating?" I said, "What are you talking about?" And they were like, "Yeah, you know that guy really likes you, right?" And I was like, "No, he doesn't. What are you talking about? He's my friend." They're like, "That is not your friend." So
Mhm.
sometimes you're very naive
Totally.
to that situation that's around you.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, I get it. Yeah, having crying over here. I don't have video because I'm like too busy like laughing my head off. Um, but let's move on. Let's talk about the challenges and risks to in transitioning into that romantic relationship.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is, there's a risk to it all, especially if you have a support system in this person, okay? So, like, you gotta ask yourself, are you ready for that change, you
I think
know?
that yeah, that's true. Like I think my one thing is, I think the number one thing is, are you ready for if it does not work out?
Right,
You
right.
know, because that's the biggest thing, and it's a fear that you have, but you also can't go into this relationship fear-based like that, but you also need to be prepared for when it doesn't work out. So what does that relationship look like after that? Are you still close friends, or you're the type of person when you can't be close friends after this
Mhm.
because you've crossed that line? Like you're basically risking an amazing friendship for a relationship that can probably debt the rest of that relationship for the rest of your life.
Definitely,
So you're
definitely.
basically playing Russian roulette with their friendship and your relationship.
Right, and, another part to that too is, like, if this person is your go-to person for anything,
Mhm.
truly, like, like, if you're claiming as a him as a best friend, um, and once he's your person, who do you go to now, right? Like, do you
Mhm.
have, like, another support system or another support group that you can share your relationship problems to if this was your person to do that with to begin with?
Yeah.
Like, are you ready for that? Are you prepared for
You
that?
gotta go find a whole new friend.
Yeah,
You gotta find a
and it
new
better
friend
not be
instead.
another guy
No, better not. You better go find
friend.
another whole female friend. Call it a day, because you're gonna be out, because that person that you call all the time and whenever you need something, you're not gonna be able to pick that phone up again.
Right.
But that's just a risk that you should really think about. But I also, like I said before, don't be fear based in that. And if it happens, it happens, and maybe you can be mature adults about it at the end. And if not, just move on, because you'll find another best friend.
Hopefully.
I mean, I would
I
hope
mean,
so.
I also think that they're like, that term, like, I married my best friend, like, you should still have a separate best friend. Like, there's your best friend, and then there's your
Oh, yeah, yeah,
husband.
yeah, 'cause you need checks and balances. I said this
For
all the time.
sure.
You're like, "Should I murder him or should I not murder him?" You
Yeah.
need the checks and balances to be like, "Girl, you need to sit down and talk to Jesus,"
Yeah.
as opposed to you going through what you wanna do. So,
Yes.
I think that makes sense, and I
Mhm.
think that I also the other challenge is, are you ready for this change, right?
Right.
Because a
Right.
friendship and a relationship are almost 2 different things, because usually sometimes you get in a relationship, they were never your friend before, but they become your best friend, right? But
Mhm.
if you're going from that
To a
friendship
certain capacity.
into
Not they're not
yeah.
they're not gonna know
Yeah, no, no,
all
no, like, yeah,
everything.
no, no.
Yeah.
But then, they're gonna know things you've done, but not everything. But then now you've had that long-term friendship, and now you have to transition that into a relationship. Like, how do you get out of that dynamic of just seeing each other, like you said, almost like that sibling effect to a romantic relationship, then trying to keep it romantic? Like, how's that transition not gonna fall back into that sibling weird thing because you've been doing that?
Because you have so much history
Yes.
together. Yeah.
So, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, you have so much history, you have the shared past with each other. Um, what you should do is not bring that into the relationship. However, it's really hard
Yeah.
not to bring up, uh, past scenarios when you're in the midst of a relationship and you're in the midst of a argument or conversation that's, like, fully heated. Um, it's too easy to say, "Well, I know that when you were with so and so, this is how you reacted, and that's what you're doing now." You know what I mean? Like, that's
Mhm.
you gotta be careful with, um, throwing those kind of things into your partner's face,
Yeah,
you
because
know?
that's an unhealthy boundary.
For sure, for sure. So
So yeah, you really gotta.
That's a
You gotta really think
challenge and
about
a
this.
risk right there,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is. And I also like that you have, like, I think you mentioned this before, your family ties, right? So what if it doesn't work out and you have your family rooting for both of you? Now it's like, what's happening here? How's that relationship work itself out, right?
Totally.
Are they still gonna come to our house for Thanksgiving? Or
Mhm.
do we not, see them anymore? But I think I already touched base on this anyway, where I said, like, you just need to be having mature conversations and just act like an adult. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Do it for the greater good, your family. Show up when you need to show up. You ain't gotta see this person all the time.
Well, another risk too, and depending on the family, sometimes family members think that they have the right to tell you more, because they know
Mhm.
the so and so person. They feel like they have to tell you more information that you really want to know. And so I think there's like a family boundary that you have to be careful with as well, and making sure that you're not allowing people from your family to cross it.
Mhm.
Um Even though they think that it's okay to do that because we're all family,
Yes, like, we're all family. We're not
We all know each
we're not
other.
Fast and the Furious. We're not family right
Right,
now.
we've seen you since
No.
diapers, so, like,
No,
no.
no, we've had enough. We've had
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that makes sense. But, to wrap up this episode though, I love this episode. So the question in the very end is happily ever after? Question mark. What do you do? I say go for it.
Yeah, go for it, and, like, never say never, it's never say it's never gonna happen because you're gonna be the first one to bite that bullet.
You really are.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's okay, like, it's okay if it happens, I think
Yeah.
is it worth it? I say, yeah, I think it's
Mhm.
totally worth it. I think potential love is always worth, their time and the risk, the challenges. I think it's at the end of the day, if, even if you had a spark for a quick second, that means it was inevitable to happen, whether it's now or later, so why wait? Right?
Facts. I
Why
like that.
wait, and why not give yourself the opportunity of finding, like, true love, even
That's
if it
correct.
might be, there might be a loss in this love as
Yeah.
well.
I think you're right. And I love that you put friendship limbo. Stay out of it.
Yeah, like, don't be in that friendship limbo. If you guys know that there's some sort of spark, feeling, anything in between you guys, like, just stop. Stop
Yeah.
wasting your time.
Yeah.
You're interested in each other. Just go for it. The fear isn't worth it. And I think you mentioned that before. It's just not.
No.
Fear
And
is always going
time
to
is
hold us
valuable.
back from
Mhm.
all the beautiful things that can happen out of, these kind of
So
relationships.
true. Just always remember time is valuable. And if you feel a certain type of way, express yourself, as Madonna would say. And yeah, with that being said, I think this was a success, my
Yeah, I
friends.
think, this was a success as well, and I'm all for it. I'm all
Yeah.
for the friendships going, from the friend zone to the end zone.
Yeah.
It's
And
it's
take
all
those
good.
risks, try it
Yeah.
out, but do you at the end of the day.
Yes. And let it be mutual.
Yes, make sure it's mutual. Don't be one-sided and become
Yeah,
crazy.
because if it's not,
We got a
then
problem.
and if it's well, also, if it's not, then you should also, like, if I'm not interested, you should also respect the boundaries, like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna need to step back a little bit to give you your space and you know, not let you get deeper into your feelings. I don't want
Yes.
a friendship that you're gonna be around just to hope that you're gonna be with me
Yeah,
one day.
don't play yourself for like 20 years or
Don't allow
something.
it for your friend either.
No, and don't be coming to you on a wedding day like I've loved you all this time and now I want to tell you. That's
Yeah.
your problem, not mine. Leave me alone. Okay? So that being said, I think we're done.
Yeah, that was
All
good.
right, I liked it.
I love it.
All right, Vanessa. Bye.
See ya.